Hi all, we're going to go right into the intel. Oh boy, we had some fun in this past week, I'll tell you. Sadly, some of it, or chunks of it, can't be revealed. But let's just say we're doing rather well. A former CIA officer this week, I'm going to include this because it'll fit in later on, has been jailed for 20 years for disclosing military secrets to a Chinese agent, according to the US Justice Department. Kevin Mallory was found guilty of several spying offences following a 2-week trial, and the fluent Mandarin speaker from Leesburg, Virginia, held top-level security clearance and had access to sensitive documents. Now, he was convicted of selling secrets to China for $25,000. And evidence at his trial included a surveillance video which showed him scanning classified documents onto a digital memory card at a post office. And he also travelled to Shanghai to meet with a Chinese agent in March and April of 2017. Now, since 2010, in America, there's been 10 incidents of selling secrets or working privately with China. In half of those incidents, CIA people were involved, mainly so-called ex-CIA. Now, one suggests we have to be very wary of ex-CIA people, not just in international terms, but ones in our own community as well. Now, if only we dealt with a certain country in the Middle East who have repeatedly sold secrets to the Chinese instead of sending them billions of dollars of our aid money, which they clearly don't need, then we might get somewhere. Like I said, there'll be a reason I added that in. All banks on Friday were put on notification by the trust on the private side of the bank, although some tellers may have seen the screen notifications which stated that this bank was under audit, as in every bank. Now, yet again, the top brass and the highest levels of the government were shown and made aware of the fact that no one, any bank, has any money left. And yet again, as of Saturday last week, we received crickets. Of course, last Friday was the latest in hashtag Operation Stupidity, more commonly known as the RV, and yet again, I don't need to tell you now, it failed. Groundhog Week on a loop for well over a decade, and these people think they will still deliver funds. Dear me. And still they sit there. So certain ones have made complaints and registered surprise that the trustee is female. Whilst anatomically she has no balls, she has more real balls than a lot of you combined. Period. Now, following the audit, a report was made by the Trust and Kim and delivered with notification of criminality of the highest order that is subsequently at the level of treason, and was issued against Stephen Mnuchin again. Now, the time to act is now 7 months past. All you people who think you have balls, all of you know that he was fired back in October last year and again in January, and you all just sit there. You know, what we have currently is the most major national security issue in this country that has been running for the last 4 years, and a lot of you with all your badges sit there and just ignore it, hoping it goes away. It won't. And in case you were too busy counting your pallets of dinars I will remind you all of what national security issue is: the financial assassination of America, which Kim has been telling you now for the last 2 years. You've all seen the figures in red this week, all of you. And a further reminder of what happens when the financial assassination is completed is none of you will have jobs. None of you. All the perks that you currently have now at the trust's request, I might add. Is that clear enough? It should be. Mnuchin is refusing to leave because he is not a Trump appointee. He was appointed by Rothschilds. Now, the Fed notified all the banks on Friday or Saturday, I think it was, and about issuing a QE against Treasury notes, not federal notes, Treasury notes. And they collected them all from all the banks. And then the Fed sent them all to China. This was Friday. Yet again, more of our money siphoned out by these banksters. Top brass, reminder again, is that not a national security issue? A defunct bank with no license sending our money to China. So let's get this right. A Langley guy mentioned above gets 20 years for selling secrets to China, and yet a bank on our soil that has got nothing to do with America can send our money to those same nasty Chinese. And what? Crickets. Now, on the back of that deal, if you think that was bad enough, Mr. Mnuchin negotiated a 35% loan against those said notes. Why? Because he was promised they would get paid out on them from China. Guess what? They got nothing. So essentially, Mr. Mnuchin made a donation to the deep state of China using America's people's money. Hello, Mr. Trump. Hello, the military. Hello, the Pentagon. What and when are you going to act on these criminals in our midst? We don't need you all playing Nero fiddling whilst everything is burning, and it is burning. There's no question of that. You've all seen it yourselves. We need Neos, not Neros.